You may have noticed Casual Climbers has been absent for the past few weeks. This is because right before we were going to record this episode, Hurricane Helene made its way through central Georgia, upstate South Carolina, western North Carolina, and Tennessee. This terrible storm resulted in more than 215 deaths, over half of which were in the Blue Ridge Mountain area of South and North Carolinas. Hundreds of people are unaccounted for.
The storm caused devastating damage to the region and will be recovering for months, if not years. The Shenandoah River near Asheville rose by more than 26 feet, and the nearby French Broad River rose by nearly 25 feet, causing widespread flooding, washouts, downed trees, and massive destruction to property. This was far worse than the Great Flood of 1916 that we covered in episode 27.
Millions were without power, including us here at Casual Climbers headquarters, for weeks, and some areas are still without power, running water, internet, or basic utilities.
Our hearts truly go out to everyone affected, especially those who have lost loved ones from this terrible storm. And while almost all trails in the region are closed due to downed trees or flooding, we'll do our best to keep this podcast going.
And beyond this podcast, if you wish to help those affected by Hurricane Helene, you can donate to any of the recognized relief organizations found on the National Voluntary Organizations Active in Disaster website at nvoad.org/current-members. And you can also donate directly to the American Red Cross at redcross.org. Every penny helps.
Mm-hmm. So while our podcast will continue to be informative and lighthearted, our thoughts will remain with everyone affected. Now, let's start this week's episode.
Let's go.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Casual Climbers, the podcast by and for beginning hikers. I'm your host, Donna Padrick, and alongside me is my husband and adventure buddy, Roy.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So in today's Trail Snacks episode, we discuss a short hike near Pickens, South Carolina, in the Glassy Mountain Heritage Preserve called Glassy Mountain Trail. This short loop takes you to the top of Glassy Mountain and offers pretty great views of the Blue Ridge Mountains in several spots along the trail.
Yeah.
What do you say, Donna? Ready to get started?
Let's go.
So here's this week's trail by the numbers. Glassy Mountain Trail is a 1.5-mile loop, and the time it took us was 1 hour. Of that, 58 minutes was moving time. The lowest point was 1,480 feet, and the highest point was 1,719 feet. So it's about 240 feet elevation change. The friendliness of the trail, pets are allowed, but in a lot of spots, it's a very narrow trail that is kind of slanted. So there's no way you're getting a mobility scooter or wheelchair through a lot of that.
I was very glad I had my hiking pole.
Yeah, this trail is rated as easy, and I found it fairly easy. There's some pretty steep inclines, but the trail itself is narrow and slanted in a lot of places.
Yes.
So we'll start at the beginning. To get there, search for Glassy Mountain Heritage Preserve Trailhead in your map app, and it'll take you right there. Now, the parking area, and I use that term loosely, is just a spot off of the dirt road that has maybe enough for 4 cars, if everybody participates well.
Yeah, you can't really, I don't know. Like some places you can parallel park and some places you pull just directly in, I suppose.
Yeah.
And
now I will say, this is a very not well-known trail.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of people that get, like, we were there the whole time and didn't see a single person.
Yeah. What? Gosh, this was a hot minute ago because this
was 4 weeks ago before the hurricane hit.
Yeah, we usually do our reviews about these trails much sooner. I know that it's very close to our house. I know that
took us about 35 minutes from Greenville to get there.
Yes, out towards Easley, right?
Pickens,
okay. So, yeah, I'm trying to...
It's a secluded trail, and it's near the top of Glassy Mountain.
What day of the week was it was it I feel like...
We went in the afternoon.
We went after work one day.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Right.
So I'm trying to think, if the time that we went and the time that we were there would be a typical time that you would maybe see hikers? I'm trying to give like an actual.
Probably not.
Okay.
But honestly, you and I took that trail, and there was a lot of spots where the trail was overgrown. It's not marked at all, but I didn't find it difficult to get my way through. It's not a very long trail.
Yeah.
It's it's a loop. It's pretty easy to navigate your way through. It's basically just the top of the mountain that you're walking around.
Yeah, you drive up quite a ways before you even start the trail, which I always like because then I'm like, oh, okay, I'm not hiking up that.
You're not going up the whole mountain. And interestingly enough, you can actually drive to the top of the mountain.
Yeah.
The road goes to the top.
But you're going to miss those overlook views.
You're going to miss it. And so at the top of the mountain, there are cell towers and a power tower up there. There's several of them. But you could park at the top and then do the loop around from the top. But
I would rather start at the bottom of a trail, hike up, and then back down.
Yep.
Then start at the top of a trail, hike down, and then hike back up. Because the second half of your hike, I'd just rather be going down the second half of my hike.
Regardless, this is a short trail, about mile and a half loop, but even so,
I think I worked up a sweat on this one, even still, because that last little bit that you're hiking up to the cell towers,
up to the summit, is a little steep.
Yeah. But yeah.
So let's talk about the highlight of it. Now, typically on mountain vista type trails, the top highest part of the trail offers you the best views.
Yeah.
That was not the case.
That was not the case
on this
here.
Trail.
No.
Where were the best views?
Along the trail, just walking along the trail, you just look over. For us, we were looking over to our right, and oh my gosh, there's a huge, like a beautiful mountain vista.
It was crazy, right? So we were just walking along, and it's secluded, and there's one spot on the left, about a quarter of a mile in from the trailhead that we took, where there's a big bald area that goes up to the top of the mountain. So you could theoretically walk up there and have a picnic on this rock bald. But then as soon as you go around the corner, it's like, boom, here's the Blue Ridge Mountains.
Yeah.
A beautiful vista.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was so pleasantly surprised at this. And because we took this so long ago, I had to go back and look at my pictures.
Yeah, I did too.
Refamiliarize myself.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh man, that is a gorgeous view.
Yeah. I mean, I would say that it's probably the Pickens version of looking at overlooks off of the Blue Ridge Parkway. I mean, nothing really competes with the Blue Ridge Parkway, but it's Blue Ridge Parkway-esque, these vistas, I think. I mean, you see civilization way down there.
Yeah.
In some spots, but
yeah, for being this close to downtown Greenville, it is a nice secluded trail that gives you some great views. I would highly recommend this to anybody in the Greenville area. It's a short drive there. It's pretty secluded, so your chances of you run into people are much less than some of the other ones, like at Table Rock, where you're just stepping all over people. And it's got some great views.
I don't remember stepping all over people at Table Rock.
I love going to Table Rock State Park. And the Carrot Creek Loop is a favorite of mine.
Yeah.
But you can't walk 100 feet without somebody else there.
It's popular.
Yeah.
It's popular for good reason.
I'm not disagreeing with that. I'm just saying, if I want to, one of the best things about hiking in the mountains is feeling
secluded
and at one with nature.
Yeah.
Right? And it's tough to do that if there's 200 people also feeling at one with nature.
I don't think we've ever seen 200 people on any trail. Parking lots have been full in places. I will give you that. But
200 may be a bit of an exaggeration.
I think so.
But I think it would not surprise me if hundreds of people take Carrot Creek Loop every day.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, so we
more so on the weekend.
Yeah.
Probably.
So we should preface all this by saying it is October 19th.
Mm-hmm.
Every state park and trail in the upstate South Carolina and Western North Carolina region right now is closed.
Yeah.
Every single one. The down trees and the washouts have basically made this area unhikeable for the moment.
Yes.
It will recover.
And it's leaf peeping. I think they call it leaf peeping season. So, I mean, thankfully, if you live in this area, you can just go to Sam's or Walmart or Lowe's or whatever, and the trees or your neighborhood and the trees in the park. But see, that was part of the problem when the hurricane came through, is that we have all these beautiful trees, and then they didn't know what to do with hurricane winds.
In our own neighborhood, 2 doors down, our neighbor had 2 trees fall on their house. And these are 7,500-year-old oak trees.
How tall would you say they are?
Easily 60 feet tall, if not taller.
I think taller.
Probably taller.
Yeah, one of them
old mature oaks and just fell on this house.
Took the top of the chimney.
Yeah, and just wiped it out.
Yeah, it just slid it right down the roof. And then one branch fell on another neighbor's car, and it just
it's brutal. And so last weekend I drove up to try to get to the Blue Ridge Parkway, which is closed right now.
Yeah.
The entirety of North Carolina. And the amount of downed trees and debris and missing roads in the mountains is heartbreaking.
Yes.
But let's get back to the trail. Let's get back to the trail.
All right.
Because I don't want to bum us out or bum our listeners out.
This particular trail probably was not too affected.
The only thing I would think is
if trees
wash out,
right?
Because some of those some parts of the trail are on a very steep slope, so I could totally see those washing out.
Yeah,
we don't know. We haven't been back up there since the storm hit. But
and I'm not. I'm scared to. I'm scared to get out there again.
Well, we'll be covering some trails in Kentucky in the next few weeks.
Yeah.
So that we can continue to provide this podcast for you guys, listeners out there. So if you stuck with us through this brief break, thank you.
Thank you.
We appreciate you listening. And we hope that...
Shout out to Amber.
Yeah, Amber. Thanks for listening and providing feedback. We appreciate it. And we're glad you like Donna's fun facts. Donna's fun facts are my favorite parts of the podcast. So we're going to get back to them next week. We're going to get back to fun facts next week. But yeah, this trail in particular was a pleasant surprise so close to Greenville, South Carolina. I was pleasantly surprised by this. Would you recommend it?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Now, we haven't gotten to what happened to me on the way back when we almost had gotten to the vehicle. Are we going to...
What happened? Was I there?
Yeah, you were there.
Something happened.
You were there.
I don't remember this.
So... a flying murder spider that was the size of my hand.
A flying murder spider.
Yeah.
Is that a thing? What's the species and genus?
Okay, so I hadn't thought about this before, but okay, no, never mind. I was going to make a connection to like Spider-Man, but he would have been red if that was the case. No, he was yellow.
And friendly.
Oh yeah, your friendly neighborhood spider. I mean, I don't...
Anyway. Don't know if this spider was unfriendly.
He or she had the misfortune to fly and land on my left shoulder. I felt something that had weight to it land on my left shoulder. Thankfully, we were not at a narrow part of the trail. Thankfully, because
we were almost back to the Jeep.
I danced around, did a little jig. You stood there.
You shouted some expletives.
I don't remember what words I might have said.
There were some naughty words there.
Okay, so you were just standing there looking at me like I was crazy. Like, what? You didn't see anything? You didn't seem too overly concerned. You thought your wife was just crazy.
No. Well, let me preface this, listener, by saying Donna, quote unquote, feels things on her almost every trail. So I
don't react like this.
Not like that.
Almost every trail.
You had big feelings.
I had big feelings.
You had big
yes.
feelings. So what had landed on her was a Joro spider. And Joro spiders are generally pretty harmless. But one thing they do in this area is they float or fly. Basically, they make themselves a little silken parachute and float along the wind currents to move. This is what they do. It's crazy. Look it up at Joro if you want to look it up. And she's not wrong about the size of this thing. It was a big spider. With its legs, it was probably as big as, the main part of your hands without the fingers.
Not only did I feel it land on my shoulder, I felt it thud to the ground when I wiped it off my shoulder. Like the ground reverberated. It was like
the ground shook.
Yes, it was a Hulk spider. It was
Okay, so now we've got flying murder spider and Hulk spider.
Yeah, and maybe related to the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
This must have been terrifying for you. That sounds horrible. A Hulk flying murder spider.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It was big. It
Thank
was a
you.
big
Thank
spider.
you for giving me that.
I'm not going to diminish that.
Did you put a picture on the website?
I did. No, I didn't put it on our Instagram. So maybe you can do that after
yeah,
we get done
I will
recording.
totally do that.
Drop a picture of it. It wasn't. It's.
I mean,
I would have freaked out a bit if it had landed on me too.
I think the spider itself was stunned by what it had just experienced because I don't think it planned on that landing. It didn't stick the landing. So
yeah, I don't think they have much control when they're floating as to where they can go.
I would hope that they think they have control. I mean, I want them to, like, if you're going to die, at least let the last thoughts going through your head be pleasant ones.
Well, I don't know if when they're floating, they're thinking they're going to die. I think they're just thinking, oh, I'm going to land on something.
Okay.
The ground, a tree, whatever.
It'll be all right. It's going to be all right.
It'll be all right.
And just listeners, just so you know, the spider did not die. No spiders were harmed in the making of this podcast.
No, he or she. We took a picture of him. He was sitting on the ground.
Probably in shock.
Taking
evaluation
of its life.
Yeah.
And its life choices.
Mm-hmm.
And then he crawled away. Or she
I wonder
away,
if
so
that spider had just had an argument with its mate and was just like, oh, I'm out. I'm going to go out for
I need for some smokes.
Yeah, I need a minute to just, and then probably when I had wiped him off my shoulder, he was like, maybe it's not so bad at home.
You have developed an entire backstory for this Hulk flying murder spider. And I got to tell you, I'm here for it. I am here for it. This backstory is great. So is it the husband or the wife? Probably the wife, right?
Oh, I don't know.
She's the one that would probably have enough.
Like huff out?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. You're probably right.
So she went out for some smokes and some Chardonnay. And was like, you know what? Screw this guy. I'm done with his spider BS. Let me just fly on the wind. And she landed on you.
Yeah.
Thinking, hey, maybe she'll just take me, a little bit further. And
I
had big feelings.
Had big feelings about it.
Said some words you may or may not regret.
I may or may not remember.
Yeah. And then it's laying there on the ground and reevaluating the
And we're taking two giants are taking pictures of it. Yeah. So I'm starting to feel a little bit bad for the spider.
We've come full circle. Full circle on this. So, yeah. So all this is to say, there's spiders in the mountains, guys. So just be ready for them.
Yeah.
Most of 99.9% are totally harmless.
I'm always looking for snakes.
You know what's interesting? The only place we found snakes was at Jones Gap State Park.
Yeah, the Rainbow Falls Trail.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's the only place we found snakes.
It just kind of moseyed across the trail and up into a bush or something. Yep.
Yeah. So no snakes. And we didn't see, we saw some squirrels on this one and probably a raccoon.
We always see squirrels.
Yeah. So not a whole lot of wildlife, but the vistas on this trail are just beautiful. And they come at different angles. And as you round it, you get different views because it's not all on one side. Because you kind of spiral up the mountain.
Yeah.
You start at one side and you go around as you spiral up toward it. So you get almost 360 views in different portions. Not at one stop, but.
And there are, if you go to the top and you go across the top, away from the ugly, cell towers and stuff, you can see a few vistas, but they're not the better vistas. The better vistas are on the trail.
On the trail, yeah.
And so I'm really hoping that trail didn't wash out.
I hope so too. I hope none of the trails that we enjoy washed out, honestly.
But that's too big to hope. Yeah. I think.
They'll recover. I'm sure they'll be, it'll take a while, but they'll recover.
Maybe this is the time when they start, installing like solar powered escalator things in some of my trails.
You think that's their recovery plan? Screw the nature trail. Let's put the escalators through.
Well, solar powered. So, I'm okay. Maybe not.
It's a bit wishful thinking. I think it's a bit wishful thinking.
I mean, yeah, maybe.
But, we could ask. I guess.
Maybe if there's some suggestion box somewhere.
Yeah, there's a suggestion box. Please, on this hiking trail, put solar-powered escalators so I don't have to move my legs.
No, just for a portion. Just for a little bit of it.
Just for the steep stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess I wouldn't be too upset about that. So, yeah, I'd recommend this trail. Donna, you said you'd recommend it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a great trail. Glassy Mountain Trail there near Pickens. It's an hour hike, something easy you can do after work, and you get some pretty great vistas. We highly recommend it.
Absolutely.
So that's this episode, guys. Glassy Mountain Trail at Glassy Mountain Heritage Preserve near Pickens, South Carolina. It's a great short loop hike to the top of Glassy Mountain. Gives you some amazing views on the trail itself. And there's room up the top if you wanted to, pack a dinner or whatever. You could sit down and have dinner after work or pack a lunch if you're doing it on a weekend. Just a nice short hike, not too far from downtown Greenville.
Yeah. So thank you so much for listening. Please subscribe to us in whatever podcast app you use and be sure to leave us a review because that's how our show grows. Feel free to check out our trail photos at casualclimbers.com. And if you have a question, comment, or just want to drop us a line, you can reach us at casualclimberspodcast@gmail.com.
So Donna, now that we've got this whole backstory for the spider,
yeah,
right? And it's clear you want to be besties with it. Do you want to?
Wait, is that clear?
That's the takeaway that I had.
Okay.
Do you want us to go back and find the spider?
Maybe not to find the
bring
spider. It home? No. We're not bringing it home. No. It's happy there, I'm sure. That's.
It sounds like it's got some domestic problems, though. Like they could.
She's got 8 legs. I'm sure she could just go home and smack him across the face or whatever and say, just straighten up. Don't be such a jerk.
You're assuming he was the jerk in this scenario.
Yeah. I mean, are you
She
not?
was the one that left.
Because she couldn't take his jerkiness anymore at all. Like, she's like, I'm done.
This is a lot of exposition for an encounter that lasted 6 seconds.
Yeah.
I'm on board.
Okay.
I'm on board. Do you have a name for
her? I don't know. Spiderella?
Original. You're going to get points for originality there. All right, everybody. We'll see you out on the trail.